You'll be pleased to know that our command line tools for managing the server don't stop just at literally managing our server process. We've also got tools that are provided that we can use then to run syntax checks across our configuration files and zone files when we create them. We can take a look at them now, but of course we'll be using these as we go through. So we've got things like the named-checkconf, which, as the name might suggest, will go through and check the configuration file. When we want to check a zone, we can use the check zone, but we have to then specify the zone name, as we've mentioned, within the configuration file, as well as the path through to that zone file. Here we're looking then at the local host as it's named within our checkconf, and then the file that represents that zone /etc/bind/db.local. And all of this at the moment is in relationship to our Ubuntu machine. We'll be seeing later on how we can use this on our CentOS host as well. We've also got some client tools so we can check that DNS is actually operational. We'll look more at our client tools and certainly more details our client tools as the course progresses. But for the moment we can see that the DNS utils package will provide for us the dig command, and we can then go through and specify to look up address records for www.pluralsight.com. We could do the same thing using NSLOOKUP, so -query equals a and www.pluralsight.com. So these tools exist and we can certainly use them for testing. Let's jump out now onto our Ubuntu host and just take a look at some of these server and client tools. First of all, let's go through and take a check on our configuration file. So if I go through and run sudo and then named-check. Now with this, it doesn't take any arguments because it knows where the configuration file is going to be. You can see I don't get any output. If you don't like that, then put the -v switch on. It's not just the version, obviously we get the version coming back, but at least it gives us verbose output so we know that it's done the check. But really, no output is good output. If we want to go through and check a zone, then we can go back and use check zone and then localhost, so how the zone is named within the configuration file, the named.conf, and then specifying the path through to that. So in our case, it's going to be bind and db.local. So with this in place, we can go through. At least we get some information showing here, so we can see that we've read the zone in, and we show the serial number that it shows as. When we're looking at our client tools, then we can go through and use something like this. Dig is especially useful. If I use something like dig and then -t a records and www.pluralsight.com, and I can make sure that I'm pointing through to this server by going through at 127.0.0.1. So we can see then the information that has come back, and the important thing is to look for an answer section. If I didn't put the address in, we would be using the client configuration, so this is coming then from the resolve.conf. We've still got the same information coming back, but when we look at the server at the bottom, it's coming then from the 127.0.1.1 rather than the 0.0.1. So we've got two DNS servers. We don't particularly need them, but that doesn't matter too much at this case. But we've got then our DNS mask that is running on this address, 127.0.1.1, and we've got then our server that we used in the previous example, where it explicitly sent it then to the 127.0.0.1 address. The good thing of being able to specify the server to read from is that we can then compare the answers that we get coming back. In this case, the answers that we get coming back are the same. If we clear out the screen and look at the previous example, We can see then in the answer section, the addresses that we come back are the same. We just get some additional information about the authority that has this information. Let's jump back now to our slides so we can summarize this section.